All right, so we've been doing lots of kind of small, kind of seemingly random updates the last little bit. So I thought I would give kind of a general overview of kind of where we're at currently and what's going on and kind of where we're going with some of the stuff. Because it's been kind of sporadic and coming up is as I get in parts, I'm gonna be doing a couple like little random, not little, but I'm gonna be kind of jumping around the city a lot. So I thought it might be good to just kind of do a general overview of the projects that are going on and are about to go on in the next little bit. So let's start on this end. This end is not really going to get touched for quite a while. I got lots of things. Look, ship on top of building. I got lots of things that I want to do in this area, but there's some other more pressing issues. I'm trying to get some of the bigger, more time invasive things done. And this is a bunch of little projects here, right? Like there's nothing super huge here. It's things like getting some sidewalks made. I need to work on some of the more of the modulars that are going up here. I got another alt build. I have those Bricklink pop-up sets to put up here that I need to collect parts for still. So it's like a bunch of little projects. I want to get this modularized, get an inside corner maybe figured out with that. Get these kind of cleaned up. I'm going to do a park up here. So like, it's just like a bunch of little projects that I'm not too concerned about at the moment. But this is kind of where this area is going. Like I said, this will probably be pushed down the road a little bit just because it is smaller projects that I can do in an evening or whatever once school starts up again. So this part's just going to stay kind of a mess for right now. The one thing I will do is probably the next time I have my saw out, which is somewhat soon, is I'm probably going to work on figuring out this back support because I don't like how wobbly it is, which we talked about before. It was done this way because of the train track, and then I got rid of the train track, so I can make this better. I just need to take a little bit of time and with the saw out and fix that. But again, that's not like a mission critical project right now. So that's what's going on with this area. Moving across the layout, we got the Pirate Bay. And this is going to be probably the most radical transformation in the next little bit. I'm still trying to think through some things, but let's talk about kind of what the overall view is. First off, this is expanded by, I think, 2 base plates, maybe 3. And honestly, it might even expand a little bit further. This will be water as well to kind of get that nice kind of diagonal thing going on. And this will be beach into cliffs and rocks and stuff. Ominous Isle will go kind of maybe in this area with its little outreaches going kind of all the way back. Again, I have 2 Ominous Isles coming. So I'm thinking one big with the like main centerpiece up here and then maybe skipping all the way back and putting another one back there. Kind of worked into this rock wall with all those little like islands skipping there in the middle of that. I'm also kind of working on a way that I can spin Ominous Isle because there's some really cool details on the backside and I would like to be able to show them. So I'm trying to figure out a way to spin it in a way that still is cohesive with the design of it and also is functional. There's just some things that don't make it just as easy as just spinning it. And so that's kind of where this is right now on this side. This, I don't know, the middle will probably be pretty open because I like to be able to get some more, maybe another ship down here yet. And so I don't plan to put a lot out here because I want to be able to have some room for ships and some room for some little stories and stuff in here. Maybe a little tiny island or something kind of in the front here that I can kind of hide some pirate stuff on. Also with this back, I'm thinking the rocks might come up like one level and then have a big open area. Again, I can do some piratey stuff and then up again to the next level. This area doesn't need to expand any. So I have all of this room for pirate beach stuff. So that's kind of that side. This side, as you know, has been a little bit of a work in progress. But I am going to rip out this sidewalk and make this all rock all the way up. And then this will be able to push all the way back. Currently, I can't push these all the way back because I changed the supports underneath here. And so these are on large base plates and they need to be on half base plates so it can go all the way back. And that will get fixed up. The other kind of grand scheme here is, if you remember, I talked about making this much more solid so that I could take it to a show if I wanted to. And so I'm definitely going to be doing that. probably when I add lights. And the reason I haven't started adding lights is because I talked with a lighting manufacturer about possibly doing some circuit boards to do firing cannons and flickering lights and allowing the boards to be expandable. Right now it's just a one cannon per board type situation, and I would like it to be more, just so I don't have to hide a bunch of boards, especially because I want to light up the pirate ship. So I don't want to have to hide 2 or 3 kind of chunky circuit boards inside the ship. I'd rather just hide one. And so I'm kind of waiting on that project to kind of get moving along before I go too far with this. But it will probably get started soon. I'm also trying to figure out if I'm just going to do straight lighting or if I'm going to add the flicker lights in for like the little flames. So that's kind of where this project is. It's kind of on a little bit of a hold. But again, this is actually, I know that sounds like a lot of work, but it's actually really not. It's really actually not that much work. It's just, again, it's another little project that I just need kind of some parts for, and then I can jump on it pretty quick. And so, again, kind of kicking that down the road a little bit, but I'm still trying to kind of think through this area because that still needs some thought. I also have this kind of idea to turn the Spanish ship into kind of a more of a larger ship like this. I have some extra parts and stuff. I basically have about 1/2 to 2/3 of another one of these exact ships. And so I'm kind of thinking through if I want to keep one as is and then expand, or just take apart this one and make it more like this size ship. Not sure yet. But yeah, so that's the Pirate Bay area. And let's move on to the next little city area. So as you've been following along, you know that I finally got this area kind of redone so that the trains could pass under. I built this little area in the process of kind of destroying some stuff and redoing trains. I got this lit while I was doing it. I still need to work on this middle section, which I actually got the parts in yesterday to do that. So that's probably going to be pretty first on this project, just so that I can call this done. And button that up and just be done with it. So that's definitely a near-term project. And then whenever I get a chance, I can just kind of clean this up. That's, again, a very quick project, so I'm not too concerned about that. And get that all kind of cleaned up and looking better because it looks like a mess right now. I had to rip out the station, and so I need to kind of figure out what all is going to go down through here. I've also realized I need to pull a lot of this off the wall, because the Emerald Knight, its front thing sticks out pretty far, and it was actually clipping stuff off the wall. That's why these are lying here, because it was literally clipping stuff off the wall. So I need to just verify that. I also need to get the remote or figure out how to power. I know how to power it. I just need to figure out how to control Emerald Knight. And the power-up functions, if you know anything about Lego's thing with motors and stuff, is that it's just a hot mess and not documented very well at all. So I need to figure out what I actually need to do to control this. I think I just need a controller maybe, or buy the Bluetooth module so I can use my phone. So I need to figure that out, and I would like to figure out how to light the car too off this same power. I think Bevan's Bricks makes an adapter now, and I think a couple others make a adapter. So I'm kind of looking into that as well. I would like to get another car or two, but if you didn't know, each of these Windows pieces are like $25. So I might mock up a car that looks similar but doesn't use those window pieces because they're just stupid expensive. Yesterday I built the cars of the Orient Express. And the main reason why I built the cars was because they are ginormous. I mean, you can see here that they are almost double the size of the Emerald Knight cars. And if I put it on a base plate, so this is right on the edge of a base plate right here, you can see that they are in fact almost a base plate and a half long. So they are huge, just ginormous cars, which is awesome. Like, they look great. They're amazing. They're very beautiful. But that means they have large turning radiuses. And so as I start to build tunnels and stuff, I wanted to make sure that they all cleared. Because if you remember from my old layout, when I had this turned this way and I had the loop around, I was having all kinds of tunnel problems. So I'm trying to avoid tunnel problems. And so I have this, and I will check it with the passenger trains, the like electric style passenger trains, because they have long turning radiuses on the front end because of their nose. These have long, so they have long outside corner turning radiuses. These have long inside corner turning radiuses. So those are kind of my two tests to make sure that I have left enough room kind of as I go through. And then I just need to kind of build on the end of this. I have waited because I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for my other switch to come in because this needs to get flipped back the other way so that the switch this is a right-hand switch. I need a left-hand switch. And so I'm waiting on that to come so that I can figure out kind of what to do here. And then once I've got that figured out, then I can kind of figure out what I'm doing around here. Obviously, there will need to be a tunnel back here. But I'm probably just going to do wall all the way around. I'm not going to do any rock facading. I'm just going to do just normal facades the whole way around this area. I think that's probably the most appropriate thing to do to kind of finish up this area. And then I still do need to fix up the road situation here and down here. So that's definitely in a little bit too. I was kind of waiting to make sure I like this kind of building placement, and I think I do. I think definitely those two things work, so I can work around anything else. So that's kind of where this section of the city is. Let's move on to the next section. Okay, so we're going to kind of look at this whole last little section as kind of one thing, because it kind of is, sort of. So obviously as this comes back through, this will be Brick Cross Station. For right now, it's just going to be open blank space. Back here, most likely these two will be the old train shed, which should be here in a couple weeks. And then this back part will be the pass-through line. And so I can at some point in the very near future get all that. I can get the pass-through line set and ballasted and all of that. Again, I'm just waiting on parts. I'm out of straight tracks, so just waiting on some parts. So once I get the pass-through line built in, and I'll probably get all the way up to the train shed, the switch into the train shed set up, and then I'll wait for the train shed, and then I'll kind of figure out the rest of this little path here. I kind of know, but I'm going to wait till I get some more things back here placed before I get too crazy with this. And again, I'm kind of waiting on parts. But I know that the train station needs to sit here. It's kind of whether it's only the station's only a base plate and a half. So I have a base plate I have a half a base plate I can sit to this side, or half base plate I can sit to this side. My preference is to sit it to this side so that it's closer to the steps and into like this area that it's technically servicing. But my problem is I need to make sure that this clears that coming around the corner into the station. And so I got to make sure that like the passenger, the like electric style, the nose clears that little turn. It should, but I just want to be sure before I get too crazy on that. And so that's this little area that services this area. This area is pretty well set as far as the large scale of things. I will need to do, again, 2 tunnels here. I'll need to close this all in. And actually, I was a little worried that the Orient Express was going to clip that corner, but it looks like it's going to be okay. So all this is pretty getting close. I can work on this. I can start to add lights to all of this, which will probably be a nearer term project. I got more of my snakes in, so I can finish up the railing details. I still need to come up with a couple more masonry bricks, but then I can start kind of finishing out this. So this is kind of going to be nearer term too. All of this is pretty good. Just needs kind of cleaned up, like just general city cleanup and create some stories and, you know, all those types of things. I do need to get some posters to put on here. But, you know, for the most part, this is all good. I have a USB cable coming to be able to power that, hopefully tomorrow. The mail has been kind of not great on tracking lately. So I thought it was supposed to be here today, but I think it's supposed to be here tomorrow. But anyways, so I got USBs coming to power that. And so then that area will kind of be done. And then this is kind of my other next bigger project that I will probably work on, because it's just kind of a large project. First, I'm going to need to remove this tree. And if you follow my Instagram, you know that this is like my arch nemesis tree. I love it. I love the way that it looks. It's just, I built it not thinking very much. Like, it's not very sturdy. Like, if I look at it too hard, the whole top piece falls over. And so I need to rebuild this for two reasons, maybe three. First, I hate how just unstable it is. Like, that just has bothered me ever since I built it. And so I would like to fix that. And I know a little bit better what to do to fix that. Secondly, it's way too close to the train tracks. So it's got to come over here. And I think what I'm going to do is actually move this whole kind of courtyard up so that the backside of the courtyard is kind of in line with the steps coming down to it. And I'm going to have it absorb this area here as well. So that it's kind of like the end of the sidewalk is in this little courtyard thing. Club hangout thing. So I'm going to extend this out this way and kind of encompass this whole thing. So moving this tree up. And if you recall, this tree was only kind of like two-sided, if you will, because it was pushed up against this wall, and this was the end of the layout. So when I take this apart to fix it, I'm going to also kind of expand it to be 360-degree tree, and maybe make it a little taller so I don't have to worry about clearances, because it actually doesn't clear the train either on this side. So I really like the design of it, or the look of it, I should say. I need to fix the design a little bit, and then fix a couple other little things about it. But that's honestly, that is actually going to be a large project, just because it's a lot of things. There's a whole lot of wires in there. This was a custom job, and so each of these has a singular wire that's running down into the trunk. And so that they can go back and forth between these two things, they're on two separate circuits inside the tree. And so that inside tree connection point is actually like about halfway up the trunk. And so it's just, there's just a lot of, it's just very hollow, so that I can get all those wires down through there, and it's created some problems. But anyways, so that's kind of that. And then I will need to do tunnels back here to close this in. I will probably do it in a similar form to this, with rock on the bottom and then wall, maybe a little bit more rock on the backside in the middle area, maybe. Don't know. And you can see I've kind of left areas here for ballasting of the train track. Again, I need to get the switch in here, but I can go ahead and ballast the bottom of that. I will need to ballast all of this, and I will need to figure out this, because the L gauge ballasting standard doesn't include angled straight track. So I'm going to need to kind of finagle what I'm going to do there. And then I have the treehouse, which I need to flip to not fall colors. So that's going to be a little bit of a project. I'm also going to order a light kit for it, because it should have lights. And this is going to probably sit more over the, I'm dropping all kinds of stuff. That's going to sit kind of over there. Again, making sure I have enough clearance and stuff. And then I'm going to work this creek all the way kind of around and out the front here. And I'm going to put the A-frame over here. I have the A-frame coming up. Got a really good deal on it on Bricklink. And so I'm going to put the A-frame on this side. Leave the treehouse there. And then maybe some other little foresty things. I'm going to make this kind of a more denser forest type area. And some of that might include that, like Majesto's workshop and the Forestman gift with purchase kind of over here, kind of probably in the corners. So I'm kind of waiting a little bit before until I get the treehouse, not the treehouse. The treehouse is right there. Until I get the A-frame and then get some lighting kits to really kind of dig into that. But I might start digging into that soon. So that's kind of the general overview of the city. There's a lot of projects, a lot of big projects, a lot of small projects to be done. And a lot of it's just kind of waiting on parts. And so that's kind of where we're at with this. And hopefully we'll kind of keep moving on. So the next little bit is going to be kind of sporadic updates as I get parts. So as I get parts in the mail, I'll work on that project. The project might not get to completion depending on how many actual parts I get with it, or if I get all the parts I needed. But I'm going to try and kind of work through stuff on as I get parts, so that I don't get a backlog of random parts kind of piling up. So that's kind of where we're at. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you like the direction this is all going. If you like this kind of just general overview instead of detailed things just constantly. Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.